Hey everyone, what is going on? My name is Dan Giesling and welcome to a very special episode of Shooting Stars Live. Really excited to have our current guest on, BadNewsBaron. BadNewsBaron is a full-time streamer that has created the best damn space sim community on Twitch. He's also the founder of Stream Academy, a resource that provides education and best practice on starting your live stream career. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring out the man himself, BadNewsBaron. What is going on, man?
That's all I got.
Just
said hello.
What did you say, man?
I said hello.
Well,
am I muted?
No, you're good. What's going
on?
How's life in the vacuum?
Life in the vacuum is very, very cold and desolate, and space stuff. And cool space fact: you can survive in a vacuum for approximately 2 hours. How long are we? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so
we'll be fine.
You'll just be tapping out of oxygen, right? If the show goes over a little bit. I have to say, you are the first guest we've had on in beautiful 60 frames per second. I mean, it's stunning, man. You look clearer than even when we've met each other in person.
I believe in quality, and I believe in quality to the point that it hurts your eyes. It's my mantra.
With your new leather jacket, it's nothing but eye candy. And I'll just leave it at that.
You commented on that earlier. All right, so fun fact about this jacket, because people tend to be like, hey, Baron, why are you wearing a jacket inside? This is a replica of Indiana Jones's jacket from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was made by the guy who did the jackets for the movie. I tracked that down.
Wait a second.
Yes.
I mean, you're dropping these golden nuggets on us before the show even starts. How did you track that down? Because I'm like, it drew my eyes to it. I'm like, that's a beautiful jacket. Like, where did you come up with this scheme to track one of those down?
So I'm not really huge into cosplay, but I am a giant Indiana Jones fan, and I had an excuse once to dress up like Indiana Jones, and I decided, hey, I'm going to do this screen accurate. I'm going to do this legit. So there's a forum out there called Indie Gear, and they have a million specs on every single little piece of Indiana Jones everything, and they found the manufacturer, and those guys still keep their print, like their little blueprint, I forget what they're called, on record for those jackets. So you just have to give them your measurements and they'll make one.
Wow.
So
What awesome world did you have the excuse to dress up like Indiana Jones? What was the event?
I was a lifeguard in high school, and they were doing an adventure night, and we're going to do an adventure night every year. So I was like, well, I better invest in some quality.
Well, I mean,
quality again.
That's a little bit of a leap, but I can appreciate that leap. So from a community pool adventure night, I thought you were going to say like an, some sort of themed party, but you went
No, I mean, it was my excuse, really. It was to live out my inner Indiana Jones fantasies. So,
where was the hat involved at all? Did you go?
Oh, hell yeah! No, I got the hat, I got the pants and the shoes and the whip, and I cut my head open trying to learn how to use a whip, in front of a whole bunch of children, and I think they were scarred because there was a lot of blood.
Wow. Well,
a lot.
That's a very memorable introduction to Shooting Stars Live. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, eventually, have you ever brought the hat out? I've seen the leather jacket on stream recently since you've returned from Hawaii. Have you ever brought the hat out on stream before?
I think I have. I don't have the hat here, though. Okay. I have it in storage right now.
It's in a museum, right? Where it
is.
Belongs
it belongs in a museum.
All right, cool. We're really excited to have you. I'm really excited to have you on the show because you've taken definitely a unique career path, and I think you bring a lot of insight and have done a lot of unique things in a relatively short time. You know, you've built this great space sim community, you've created Stream Academy, you've become one of the premier streamers for Star Citizen, and you've just done a lot in a very short period of time. And one of the things that I learned about you at PAX that we're going to talk about in your interview is you come from, a traditional marketing or branding career, and then you left that behind to pursue these endeavors, which I can't wait to talk about. Before we get into that, though, one of the things we do on the show is we talk about a few trending topics in gaming that are specific to our guest. And, being the space sim expert that you are and Star Citizen expert that you are, I wanted to get your thoughts on the recent Alpha 2.2 public release of Star Citizen.
It's a bunch of crap, and CIG's full of crap, and it's vaporware, and it's all gonna burn. It's really good. I really like 2.2. I think it's the most stable release that they've had so far in terms of game performance. It hasn't been crashing very much at all. Frame rate is finally playable for the majority of people. A lot of people are finally getting to, above that 20 frames a second spot into 30 or 40, and it's coming together nicely. So 2.2 introduced a new flyable ship in the Saber, and it also introduced the bounty hunting system, or the very beginnings of the bounty hunting system and the wanted system for the first time. And that's a lot of fun to play around with, because now you can go around and you can commit crimes and be wanted, and people will try to murder you. And I like it when I'm the bad guy, so that works.
Will you default to playing the bad guy, or will you be put on the white hat?
Well, it's more interesting to be the bad guy. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you have a leather jacket on.
Exactly. I'm gonna wear a black cowboy hat next, and like black chaps, and I'm gonna speak with an accent, and this is gonna be good.
Just the chaps, nothing underneath it.
Oh yeah, well, buttless chaps, of course.
When one of the things when Star Citizen, when they release these bigger patches, like you said, a new ship normally comes with it, something usually hangar ready, something usually flight ready. How do you manage that in your hangar, and do you buy or meld to get all the new ships, or how do you manage that with your wallet and real life finances, considering all the ships are beautiful?
I have a lot of the ships. I've been kind of fortunate. So a lot of the ships that I got for myself, I got before I was streaming full time, because I had the luxury of a second job, and I was like, all right, well, I can sort of feed back into my hobby. Now I tend to get a lot of ships from viewers. A lot of viewers have been very, very gracious and generous towards me, giving some really awesome packages. So I've bought a couple of ships for myself over the last year, but really, I can sort of melt and move stuff around, and it's worked out. We got an Idris that way by just melting pretty much everything in the hangar and getting their battleship package, which has a lot of combat ships and the Idris in there. So that's cool. I'm excited for the Idris. It's a big sort of support carrier frigate thing.
Yeah, can you explain? I know what an Idris is. It's like the holy grail of the ships, more or less, because there's only so many, and the price tag is pretty steep. So can you explain it in your opinion? Explain the Idris to someone that has no clue what it is in Star Citizen.
So, all right. So a lot of the ships that you buy in Star Citizen are kind of, they're big. They're spaceships, but they're small in terms of, relative size to other things that are in the game, like massive carriers that are bigger than the Battlestar Galactica. And the scale is absolutely enormous, like Super Star Destroyer size stuff. Most of what you own is on the scale of like fighters and small freighters and things like that. But the Idris is a support frigate that can carry multiple ships inside of it. So you can have your friends come and land inside. It'll take like hundreds of NPCs to run this thing, as well as a bunch of players as well to operate this ship correctly. I think it's not quite the biggest thing you can own, because they released the Javelin, which is a pure warship, but it's one of the biggest, and it seems like it's going to be awesome.
Is there any sense of what's your demeanor now that you have one of those, or that you have one of those in your hangar? I mean, do you feel superior to those that might not have an Idris?
Oh, yeah. No. Casuals. Filthy casuals who don't pay $1,000 for a spaceship.
All right.
No dedication to the game.
So, and that kind of leads us to the second thing I wanted to bring up is that, okay, so Star Citizen, we know, is the most crowd-funded thing ever, over $100 million raised.
Yeah.
And, I can fully disclose I'm a fanboy for the game. But for people that aren't, there's a lot of criticism for the game that people, not like yourself, but people are spending hundreds of dollars or even $1,000 and up on ships that don't necessarily exist. What are your thoughts on the criticism, and do you think it's founded? Or what's your opinion on that?
I don't think a lot of it is smart, if you will. There's a little Derek Smart joke there. A lot of controversy with that guy. Anyway, so here's the thing with Star Citizen.
Will you explain who Derek Smart is, because he came out and kind of thrashed Chris?
I'm gonna do a circuit. I'm gonna look back to that. That's a joke for the future. All right, so let's understand one thing about Star Citizen before we get started on any of that stuff. This is a game that you can own forever for $45 and get everything that's in the game. Like Elite Dangerous, you buy the base game, you earn money in the game, you can unlock the other ships. Anything else that anybody ever buys in Star Citizen is completely to support the development of the game, and that is on them and their personal stupidity and flagrance with their wallet. That's like all on them. Like I have put way too much money into the game, and that's on me because I had the game at $45, and now I'm just putting money into an account.
Do you have any regrets about that? Real quick.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Sometimes, no. I'm very happy with my decision and my purchases because I believe very strongly in the game and in the team that's developing it. They're awesome, very very talented people. But yeah, there has been criticism that there are people buying $1,000 spaceships, and a lot of that comes from misinformation, either intentional or or unintentional. That you will be behind everybody if you don't buy these big things. That it's going to be a pay-to-win game. Bunch of nonsense. Basically, I think we're a community of gamers that is afraid of microtransactions. So a lot of people have assumed the worst from the get-go, that this is going to be a microtransaction game. And while I think that there's going to be some stuff that you can get in the store post-release, once the game releases, they're saying, all right, all these giant ships you can get, they're going to be gone. You're not going to be able to buy them in the store anymore. You're going to be limited to just purchasing starter ships, and this is purely for the pledge period, which is something that I respect. So going back to Derek Smart, and I feel bad for even bringing it up now, it's just a guy who has tried to make a floundering career relevant again by criticizing the game because his own game has failed, and it's been funny.
So when people say, hey, Star Citizen's raised all this money, they're continuing to raise a lot of money. Raise is the wrong term. Continuing to generate a lot of revenue from a game that isn't finished. I think you and I will defend the game, but in no way, shape, or form do you agree with that in any sense of the word?
I don't believe that the game is pay to win. No, especially a lot of it is your actual piloting ability. A lot of people who buy these large ships from the start won't even be able to use them because they'll take lots of resources like cash and manpower and other people to actually use them from the start. I like that some of those ships will be available from the start as well because it means we'll have a more varied play environment. Not everybody will, like the first month of launch, it's not going to be the people in the same small ships. We're going to have a good mishmash of stuff from the start. I don't know. It's hard for me to reconcile a lot of those arguments with the experience that I've had interior to this community. We sort of take things for granted because we're so close to the project. The one thing I will say is that there hasn't been a very good effort on the part of Cloud Imperium. I don't want to say effort because they put a lot of effort into this, but there hasn't been an organized way to explain the monetization model of Star Citizen and the way that the ships work. It's still very unclear.
I mean, so you'd say to you or I, it's pretty clear, but to the outsider, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like so. All right, so my deal with the current Star Citizen website is it's an awesome, super cool website, but it's really only super cool for people who are already in the fold, who already know about Star Citizen. Because for newcomers coming to Star Citizen, there's so much information out there, but it's just you go on just mental shutdown. And then there's lots of conflicting information from different points of development because the internet is a timeless repository. So you can get stuff that's out of date or things that may happen in the future or things that people completely unrelated to the project have said, and it's all very confusing. So I think the new player or people who are looking into the game for the first time, I think that experience can be improved a lot. Got
it. I mean, to their defense, and you're definitely not attacking them, but it's a very deep game to even try to explain, even if you have all the information.
Yes.
But I think in terms of that, I just wanted to hear your opinion on, the criticisms, which, to you or I, it's fairly obvious that it's, that's not the case. But to the outsider, it's just always good to hear someone that's, right. Like you said, you're so close to the community and you've become such a, in my opinion, integral part of the community.
Thank you.
You've done a great job, and we're going to talk about that. Before we talk about that, though, what are you playing right now on stream? And then are you playing anything with your off-camera time?
Oh, we're doing Star Citizen almost every day. Not every single day, but most days we're playing Star Citizen on the stream, especially when there's new patches. We try to cover all the new patches and updates when those are out as much as possible. That's definitely the core of the community. I started streaming off of Star Citizen, and we've sort of stayed in that realm ever since. I've been playing a few other titles as well this last week. I've been kind of splitting the streams between Star Citizen and we did The Division today. We did a little bit of Far Cry Primal. I dipped into Black Desert yesterday, and that was a lot of fun making fun of these things. And really, it's when things start to slow down on the space sim side, we start moving into other stuff to try to keep people engaged.
And what do you define by like slowing down? What's slowing down?
If it's been like 3 weeks since a patch and there's really nothing new, then normally there's going to be a dip of interest in people who are watching because they've seen the same content over and over again. There's not a lot of content in Star Citizen right now because of the stage of development that it's in. So really, once you fly around Port Olisar, and Port Olisar we've had available for, I guess, since November. Once you fly around that, a few dozen times, you sort of start repeating a lot of the same experiences, and a lot of people who have watched for a long time will start going, okay, well, you've already turned on this comray and turned it off a million times, so what are you going to do now? So at that point, we go, okay, so what else? What other games can we do while we're waiting for the next big content update? Which the next one should be massive with Nyx. It's going to be a big asteroid landing area. That should be a ton of fun. And then off stream, what I've been playing is that Stardew Valley game.
Okay.
It's really addicting.
How far into it are you?
I'm not very far at all because I keep getting distracted. I keep wanting to chop down every single little tree. And then I want to talk to everybody, and I want to be everybody's friend. I don't normally play games off stream at all, but this one has me.
It's got you, huh?
Yeah.
What's the last game outside of Stardew Valley that you've played completely off camera? Can you think of one?
Maybe Rebel Galaxy?
Okay.
I was kind of hooked into that one for a while, and then for a long time, Hearthstone. I had a Hearthstone problem, and I was afraid to admit it. But I'm off it now.
How did you kick the habit?
I had to go cold turkey.
Really?
Yeah. There are support groups I know, but that really didn't seem like my thing. And I've seen other streamers who try to go that route, and sometimes I think it's like a publicity thing. Like they get into Hearthstone and they put it in the media that they're really into Hearthstone, but really they just want attention, and then they shave their heads. And no, I decided to do it quiet at home and go through my withdrawals.
Got it. Well, yeah. Glad to see that you've recovered from that period. And speaking of recovering from that period, let's talk about how you grew up. So one of the things we like to do here is we like to understand what a young Baron was like to get a better understanding of how you operate today. So you can lay down on the couch if you'd like. But tell me about where you grew up and what your childhood experience was like.
Well, I was born in a little island town. No, all right. So I grew up in North Texas, and North Texas is a very, very boring place for anybody. Dallas is like a boring. There's like nothing in Dallas. It's like there's no arts community, there's no music scene, there's like average chain restaurants. It's just sort of a corporate wasteland. So it was a very, very generic white guy growing up experience.
Define generic white guy. Is that like the equivalent of a basic? Female? It
was suburbs. It's like, all right, here's our moderately performing safe high school in our moderately performing safe neighborhood. And there's a movie theater, and you can go outside and walk on this really pristine nature trail that the local homeowners association set up. And like, just nothing unique about it. Nothing unique about that experience. I was a Boy Scout though.
Really?
Yeah.
What drew? Well, first off, did you have any brothers or sisters?
No.
So you're only child.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe a little spoiled them in there. Just throwing that out there. No, so what got you into the Boy Scouts? I mean, as a kid, were you a troublemaker? Were you a good student?
I was a little goody two shoes. I wasn't a particularly good student, but I was a little goody two shoes.
What does that mean? How can you? So you're nice to everyone, but you didn't do well in school?
I'm afraid. Yeah, because I was super ADD, super ADD, and I would always forget to do my homework and stuff like that. But no, I was very, very nice. I never broke rules and things. So I was a Boy Scout. I got my Eagle Scout thing, and that looks good on resumes and stuff. and I was on the swim team, and what other information?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to understand. So, for you? Did you do the Boy Scouts because it looked good, or did you actually enjoy it?
Because they had a cool poster with people like rappelling down a mountain face. And I was like, I want to be that guy. And then you learn that that's not what happens in the Boy Scouts. You go and you cut your fingers with knives while you're trying to carve wood, and you sit around a campfire and drink really disgusting Gatorade.
Got it.
So that's the Boy Scout experience.
Okay, and what does it take? Because I'm uneducated in this. What does it take to go from Boy Scout to full-fledged Eagle Scout?
A lot of time. So there's something stupid like 5% of all Boy Scouts become Eagle Scouts, or maybe less than that. I don't know. But really, it's just a matter of not quitting and doing all the work. There's lots of like community work that you have to do. There's lots of you have to do like a final community project in terms of like helping a local school or some charity, however you want to set that up. I ended up building benches for my elementary school,
Very cool.
doing all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, it's just sticking to it.
A bad news baron with the heart of gold.
Yeah.
All right, so you grew up. It sounds like you had a very like suburbia, white picket fence kind of upbringing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
to say.
I was always in books.
You were always in books, like reading books.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I had such a boring exterior life for me that I was always reading everything that I could, and I got like my teachers used to punish me by taking away my books because I would be reading them in class, and I'd be like in elementary school reading Michael Crichton, and they thought that was weird. So they're like Matt, no reading,
no reading, no
Yeah.
education in our
Yes,
school.
yes,
All right, so you have, it sounds like, a pretty normal, quote unquote, upbringing. You do okay in school.
Yep.
Everyone, your teachers like you because you're goody two shoes and you do things the right way. What was your first introduction to gaming as a kid that you remember?
I think it wasn't even it was just a regular Nintendo. It wasn't even a SNES.
Okay.
My stepdad had one, or I think it may have been one of his sons who had one. And they had a whole bunch of old games on there that I absolutely loved that I was never any good at. And I think really the first console I had that was mine. I didn't really get into PC gaming till I was like 12. Was when the original PlayStations, and I had a ton of fun with that.
Okay.
Loved it.
Do you remember the first Nintendo game you ever played?
I think it was Contra.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was horrible. I didn't get past like the first level at all, but I would play it over and over and over.
All right, so you get into Nintendo, then you get your PlayStation, and you said around age 12, you jumped into PC gaming. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing, I know age-wise, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, so to get a PC at age 12, that's not like it is now. I mean, that was fairly rare back then. So how did that go down?
My dad was curious about building a PC, and so he built a PC, and I built it with him, and it became mine because I think he got one for work shortly after that.
Okay.
So I got to play around with it, and it was cool.
Okay. So you helped build this first PC, and then did you totally ditch the consoles and go all PC, or what was your early PC gaming experience like?
For a while, because I got super hooked on Free Space 2.
Mm-hmm.
Free Space 2 was one of my first PC games, and I was absolutely addicted to it, and like forever, as far as I can remember. Like I'm sure if you actually go back and you do the math in the years, there was other stuff in there. There was a game called like Twin Suns Odyssey that I did for a long time, but the one that I can remember being hooked on for a long time was Free Space 2, and I managed a clan in there that did absolutely awful in squadron battles, and I was obsessed with it. And like on road trips, I would have to check in with my squad leaders, and like I was trying to be Ender Wiggin, as a little tiny kid managing these other gamers, and they didn't know how old I was.
Did you, when you were playing these PC games, is that something that you shared with your friends, or were you just kind of like a closet gamer as a kid in regards to PC gaming?
Oh no! I mean, I was open about it. I didn't have a ton of friends when I was a kid. I always had like one or two like really close friends, and they'd be equally as nerdy as I am. But yeah, I think a lot of my early game experiences were, besides like the space sims on PC, like lots of consoles like N64 and like Diddy Kong Racing forever.
Got it.
Everything in Diddy Kong Racing.
What drew you to space sims as a young teenager?
I liked sci-fi literature a lot,
Hmm.
like a ton. Dune is still one of my favorite books. I was obsessed with the X-Wing series of books, and I think that's probably what did it. Is I got to feel like I was reliving those X-Wing experiences through games like Free Space and Free Space 2 and Freelancer and all that stuff.
Very cool. So when you were playing these games, did you have, I don't want to say the support of your parents, but were your parents like saying, "Hey, you have to get off," or were they cool with your forming habit/addiction?
They were normally like, you need to get off. I was limited to I think 2 hours a night,
Okay.
and and yeah, that was always a source of conflict.
How was that structured as a kid? So you go down after school. Like, is there a stopwatch? Is it like how did that? It seemed like you when you said 2 hours. It's something that's
They
prevalent
they
in your
pretty much
memory.
knew that as soon as I got into my room, that I would start playing games,
Okay.
and so they just knew that right after school they would time it, and then they would shut it off, and if I would try to sneak it afterwards, so they might have to disable the entire internet to the place on the dial up. So
So what did that I'm really interested in this. What did that interaction look like? So say you get home from school at 4, you go into your room at 4:15, 6:15 rolls around. Walk us
no,
through
well, that's not entirely true because I had to watch Toonami before that.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to watch Toonami and watch Dragon Ball Z, the same episode over and over and over again, and then it was gaming time.
Okay. So you go and say it's 4:45, 5 o'clock. Let's say at 4 because you probably eat dinner after that. So it's 4. You're in there until 6. Is there a knock on the door? Take us through what that interaction was like.
No, it was more of a reason of necessity than anything. I'm kind of joking about this. So I mentioned that I was a swimmer. So I normally what I do is I'd wake up at like 5 in the morning, or earlier. Normally it's like 4:30 in the morning. I'd go do a swim practice, and then I'd go to school, and then I'd get out of school, and I'd go do another swim practice, and I'd get home at like maybe 8, and then I'd play games for a couple hours, and it'd be like 10, and then they'd be like, "You need to go to sleep, or do your homework, or whatever it is you need to do."
Got
And
it.
that's it.
So it seemed like, I mean, I know you'd mentioned you swam in school. Did you, I mean, if you're going to 2 practices a day, it sounds like you took it pretty serious. Did you achieve any level of like success? Not, I don't say that in like a facetious way, but
Yeah, I swam for 10 years.
okay.
And yeah, I was pretty serious about it. When I was in high school, it was 3 practices a day, and
Wow.
it beat the crap out of me. I was a state level athlete. I went to state a few times. I had pretty good success there, and then when I got to college, I didn't do it ever again because I hated it by that point.
Got it. What events did you swim?
So I was a sprinter, so really anything sprint I could do okay in. So short meter.
Like 50 free?
Yeah, 50 free was my main one, and really anything under 100. Backstroke was a good one for me. I am a little bit. I wasn't good at breaststroke.
Got it. Okay. Whenever you play any games that involve swimming or have a swimming mechanic, do you analyze or break down the form, or is that
Oh
just
no,
no? Just
no, I don't. I don't care anymore ever again. I can't play in pools ever. Like if I go to a pool party, I don't know what to do. I just stand there and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing in the water? Like I don't know how to play in pools.
got it. Okay. All right, cool. So high school comes and goes. You hang up the Speedo, and then
Yeah.
you said you went to university or college. Where did you end up going to school at?
Southern Methodist University in Dallas.
Okay.
SMU.
Mustangs or Broncos? Mustangs.
Mustangs.
Okay. So you go to
Yeah.
SMU, and then what does a young Baron want to spend his collegiate time doing?
Writing.
Writing.
Writing was my thing. All right, so I was convinced from a very early age that I was going to be a famous author, and that was what I was going to do. And so I went to school with the intention of getting a creative writing degree, creative writing and literature, and so that's what I did. And so I wrote short stories a lot. I worked a lot of times in my free time with the film department because I started really loving movies. So I would write scripts for them and help them shoot it, help them in productions as a production assistant. And that was my hobby. Also drink a lot.
Got it. So do you have any? What do you feel your best short piece was that you wrote? Can you give us a little synopsis or overview of it that you remember?
Yeah, so I had one short story that won a few awards there. That was about lucid dreaming, and it was sort of a Chuck Palahniuk kind of deal, where a guy goes into a sleep research facility and they're trying to induce lucid dreams in people, and he starts losing, obviously, the distinction between reality and his dreams, and he starts acting out bad fantasies in his dreams, which spill into real life, and it becomes a thing.
That
It's
sounds.
very it's kind of predictable now.
It sounds a little Inception-y, kind of like a reverse Inception.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. Are any of these works published anywhere on the internet
Yep.
that we could
Yeah,
find?
and no,
We couldn't find them.
no, nope. I mean, you could theoretically find them, but I'm not going to divulge any of that
Why? Why not?
ever.
What about
'Cause-
just one story? Will you tweet out one story after the interview that we could read?
Maybe.
Okay.
I still haven't given out my. I know that you're Dan Giesling. I still haven't given out my full name. And I've been thinking about it lately about whether I want to dox myself or not, and just embrace the being a creative person on the internet thing.
Well, that's
I live in fear of the swatting.
well, that's why I had to laugh. We've talked a few times, in person, and you gave me your business card at PAC South, and on the card it says just your first name.
Yeah,
There-
BadNewsBaron.
Yeah, there's no last. I mean, when you at that point when you get the card from someone, you expect their full identity. It's just Matt. I'm like,
Yeah.
there was a moment in time I'm like, why is that? Why?
I know big streamers who completely hide their identity, and I know streamers who do not hide their identity at all. And I'm not sure what space I should be occupying. So it's always been an awkward thing. Like, is it really a security problem? Is it like not that big a deal? I don't want the SWAT team to bust down my door, but maybe it's not that, maybe nobody cares. So
So you've never released your last name.
no.
No one knows it.
Well,
I
my
mean-
parents know it.
I mean, in the online space, no one knows it.
No, I mean, as far as I know.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a way to look up. I'm sure there's who is stuff on my website, and it's out there, but
Do you think that'll change at any point in the near future?
it might.
And,
Yeah.
And
I've been thinking about it.
your reason for not doing it is primarily because you don't want any sort of breach of security with someone showing up at your place of residence.
Yeah. So, before, when I was not a single gamer, when I started streaming, I was dating a girl very seriously for a long time, and so to help protect her identity as well, because she didn't want her information out there, I always protected my information. So now it's not a thing anymore because I'm on the market, Dan. just wanna say that.
News Beacon, in case you don't know, Matt Blank, I wish I could tell you
Yeah.
his last name, is now
How did you know
available.
my last name? How did you know it's blank?
By the way, Disco
Blanco.
Lando just showed up in chat. Maybe he can reveal
he
your
really?
last name in chat for us. But anyway.
Why is he here?
So you made a conscious decision. I mean, it makes sense then as a committed gamer, but now that
Yeah.
you're single,
Yeah.
there's a
No,
possibility
I'm-
that it could be. Would we see it in like a press release formatted tweet, like PSA?
No, I mean, yeah, I'll send it to Streamer News. I'll send it to Imperial News Network for Star Citizen, and I'll write it up like a press release. I used to do those. So we'll say what city it's in, and the date and everything. We'll format it like a letter. It'll be good.
Awesome. All right. So speaking of that, so you're in college. You're into creative writing. And then do you change gears at any time? Because I know what field you end up going into, but at what point did you stick with creative writing and then jump to like marketing, or how did you transition in college?
No, I got my degree. I finished doing what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I got my degree in creative writing, and I graduated thinking I was going to be a writer.
Okay.
I was working at the time on a book that I'd written a novella as my senior project for that degree. That was a period piece set in the 1800s, no 1700s, in the Caribbean. It was sort of a pirate story, but told from the point of view of a British naval officer, and I was trying to do it extremely accurate to history, which was a pain in the ass, and it ended up burning me out completely. So I had a really, really solid novella built. And then trying to expand that into a novel, I ended up burning myself out completely, and I lost the will to write. And that sort of coincided with the postgraduate reality of a creative writing degree, which is that if you want to be a starving artist, you're going to be a starving artist. And that's not fun for very long at all. I was waiting tables after college because I thought, it'll be an easy job while I'm trying to submit stuff to different publications. And I'm not cut out to be a waiter. I just don't like that experience at all. It sucks. It sucks being a waiter.
Why do you say that? Because you seem like you're very jovial, and in person I was kind of lurking from afar at PAX South when you had your booth at Streamer Academy, which we're going to talk about, watching you interact with everyone. And you seem like you're doing a very fine job.
New. That's new since I'm a streamer. That's part of the Baron thing that I didn't have before. I've never been very good with people at all, and like I'm shy and I'm quiet and I don't talk to people. That's always my thing. But as a waiter, I've always kind of joked that I think everybody should do like a tour of service after they graduate, where they have to do 1 year in the service industry. Or maybe after high school. Like some countries have it where you have to be in the military for a year. Mm-hmm. I think it should be the service industry because people are absolutely jerks to the people in the service industry. Like,
what was a bad news waiter? What did that look like for you? I mean, were you like giving people dirty looks when they asked you for more ketchup?
No. I was an okay waiter. I was a pretty good one. I wasn't excellent, but I did well enough. Mostly, I didn't like being treated like dirt by people, which a lot of people do. There's a lot of people who are very, very nice to their waiters on the whole, but I got fed up with all of that. Just a few too many times, there were people who were just completely rude, and there were things that would go wrong, like maybe the kitchen is backed up and they're getting stuff late, and so they don't tip you, and then you lose money because you have to pay out to the kitchen staff anyway. It's always the waiter's fault, no matter what. I just didn't end up liking it, so I decided that I wanted to go do something else.
Was there any repercussions or any side jabs or any undercuts you ever made towards any of your customers that may have been less than desirable?
No.
Never. You never. Like.
No, we don't spit in people's food. We don't do anything like that. That stuff doesn't. I mean, maybe it happened somewhere, but it never with any of the wait staff that I worked with.
Got it. Yeah. What sort of establishment could we have seen a young Bad News Baron waiting tables at?
There were two places. I worked at a country club, the same country club that I was a lifeguard at, and then I moved on to a sushi joint.
Okay.
Yeah, it was sort of an upscale sushi restaurant in a little suave little area with lots of little shops and things. And there was an Angelica theater there, and it's very, very posh.
Got it.
And so I did karaoke on Thursdays as a waiter, so I could get better tips.
Nice.
It was fun.
Do you remember any of your spiels that do you have any of those ingrained in your memory from either restaurant?
Oh, no.
Like we have the
no.
roast?
We talked about trigger points before. This is a trigger point. No, I'm not going to cite. I blissfully I've forgotten all of the menu.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on from your waiter career, so you graduate from college, you have your writing degree, creative writing degree. You try your hand at writing, you burn yourself out. Real quick before we jump on the next segment, the next question, what is the status of your novel now? Is it half finished? Is it quarter finished?
I haven't touched it.
Okay.
So in terms of being finished, it's probably a quarter finished.
Okay.
There's the bit that's a novella that's still intact, so I probably need to rewrite it. I have a feeling that if I went back to it, I'd rewrite everything, but I haven't. Since I stopped writing, and that was shortly before I went into marketing, I haven't touched a single piece of fiction since.
Got it. Okay. Would you ever consider writing lore or anything for Star Citizen?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, I've had an idea kicked in my head for a long time about going through and doing Star Citizen period fiction about the it would be several hundred years before Star Citizen, the rise of the first emperor for the United Earth Empire, or whatever that's called, Messer. I think that would be a cool history to write about.
Very cool. Okay, so since then you've put down the pen, and since you had that, you burnt out. So then, what do you do? How do you say, hey, I'm a creative writer and I want a job now, or I don't want to wait tables anymore?
I got an internship.
Okay.
through my university, I went and I looked for a long time for an internship, and I found a startup marketing digital agency that was looking for somebody.
Okay.
So I went and I was basically their company because they didn't have anybody else hired.
Wow.
And I wasn't really an intern, I was basically a full employee but unpaid for a little
Got it.
while under the promise that I would get a job once the internship was up, which I ended up getting.
Okay.
So that was a point that I had switched from being a waiter at the sushi restaurant to a waiter at the country club because the hours were more flexible.
Got it. Okay, so you start this internship, and it's the owner and you. And during this time, because I can look back and see what you've done on Twitch, and I look at it in admiration because it's very, very well done from A to Z. But can you tell us a little bit about what you learned, and how long you were in the marketing field, and then how you
Sure.
transitioned from doing that job? I'd imagine you're pretty successful at it, to saying, hey, chuck it, I'm going to go full time as Bad News Baron.
Well, that's an interesting story as well. With the actual transition from that to streamer. So the internship was 6 months. And to clarify a little bit, the digital side of that marketing agency was new. They spun up under a new brand, but it was an existing marketing agency that had done largely print services and traditional mailers and events coordination, basically print marketing, a lot of traditional marketing. This one was something called inbound marketing, which was a new concept and field that is now very popular, but it was pretty new at the time. That involves, instead of doing lots of external advertising, print media, all that stuff, trying to create content and getting people to come to you so that you don't really have to hunt for lots and lots of random people. You'll find more qualified leads for your business because naturally people will be attracted to what you have to say. So it was lots of marketing through blogging, through content creation, through making like ebooks and things like that. Lots of SEO. So lots and lots of trying to leverage social connections and social networks and Google itself in order to get people to come and find the different clients who I would be working for.
Okay.
So lots of stuff like that.
What would be an example of a client that you work for, an article or a piece of content you would have created as Bad News marketer?
So we would have like a marketing funnel, right? So you come in, and so one of these was a company. It was actually a university style format for a giant eye care company called Essilor, who makes lots of lenses and products for opticians. So they created something called ECP University, which was like a training program for opticians. And so in order to get people to come find that, I would be doing things like creating lots and lots of blog posts about eye care. So I had to learn how to be an eye care person. And then people might share that on LinkedIn or with each other. They might share it on Twitter. And so people would be coming in that way. And then we would say, okay, well, while you're here, why don't you download this ebook and give us your email address? And so I would write the ebook, or we'd have somebody else write the ebook, but this is the funnel. So they get the email address. And then when they're in the email network, we say, okay, well, we hope you're enjoying the ebook. We have a whole program that's been created. We'll ping you in a couple of days to see how you're liking things. And so I would create the entire email sequence for all that. There was an entire customer care funnel that would be created that was designed to market to people in a way that we created something useful. It wasn't just, being evil and beating your head over by stealing your data and stuff like that. It was marketing I could get behind, basically.
Okay. So how long were you at this job before you started part-time streaming?
All right, so I was there for a year,
Okay.
and then I got fed up with the place, and I quit because I really didn't like my boss, and I didn't like lots of multiple clients because I didn't like working on stuff that I didn't really believe in. I don't really care about eye care. I don't really care about mortgage stuff. Like I was working for a mortgage broker, and that was really boring to me. So I went and I worked at a company that was my dream company called Saddleback Leather, and I was a copywriter there for a year, and I rewrote all of their product descriptions and all their website and everything. And I started streaming while I was at Saddleback because it was a work from home position. Everybody at Saddleback works from home. They're all over the world. It was really cool. You get to travel and stuff. And I normally had a pretty flexible schedule. So during the days, I would stream a couple hours in the morning before I started working. And then if I had time at the end of the day, I'd stream a couple hours after.
Okay.
And that went on for about 6 months.
Real quick, how did you discover streaming? And then how does it go from being an inverted Matt to saying, hey, I'm going to put myself out there as this person who we didn't even talk, and I want to talk about how you came up with Bad News Baron? So like, at what, I mean, because you said you're an introvert, so streaming, I would say, is the opposite of being an introvert, at least for that time you're on camera. So what made you start streaming at first?
I always had an inner performer, sort of an inner urge to do like voice acting and acting and stuff like that. And I never really had an outlet for it. So that was the beginning urge for it. I found streaming. I found Twitch through Bike Man. I saw his YouTube videos, and that led me back to Twitch. And I thought that was really cool. And I really am a huge fan of Bike Man today. And I was starting to follow Star Citizen a bit more during that time. So that was right before Star Citizen released the initial version of Arena Commander.
Okay.
And so when the first version of Arena Commander launched, I think a couple days after that is when I did my first stream.
Okay. So you like Bike Man. He's wildly entertaining, does some different voices, and he's really enjoyable to watch. So you connect with him, on a viewer to streamer level, or you, as an audience member, and then you start to think, okay, I want to do this. And then does your marketing background kick in? Like, how did you go from, hey, I watch Twitch to I'm now on Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah, it kicked in. I started to get into it, like for sure. The first time that I streamed, I had people show up and start interacting with me, and that's when I knew I was hooked with it. Like as soon as I caught a little glimmer of a community that could be, I decided to really, really embrace it. And I thought that I had something unique to offer to the Star Citizen streaming community, which was pretty small at that time. Most of them are gone now. There's really only one other person doing it now. So they've all come and gone. And so I started streaming, and I thought that if I wanted to grow it and ever turn it into something that I could do as a job, because I started after a couple of weeks of this, I think I got my first few tips coming in, and I started realizing, hey, maybe I could turn this into something one day. And so that's when I started using my marketing background, saying, all right, what other content can I create? How can I start organizing a community? How can I make a tribe of people who really are engaged with each other, who can talk to each other, who are all passionate about the same thing? How can I make this solid, and how can I help promote it and give it the best chance of succeeding? So I used everything that I learned as a marketer to help facilitate that.
So instead of writing about I care and mortgages, you're taking all those skills you learned and doing it for something you actually are passionate about and care about. Yeah,
making videos for Star Citizen, or doing informative streams about Star Citizen, writing some guides and things like that. That was a lot of fun.
So how did your first stream, were you Matt and your last name? Or were you always Bad News Baron?
I was Bad News Baron. I was at that time the Baron of Bad News.
Okay.
But the channel was called Bad News Baron.
Okay.
Because I had to shorten it for Twitch.
Okay.
That was my Steam handle, was the Baron of Bad News, because it was a funny pun, I thought. So
it's very creative. It was written very creatively.
Yeah.
All right. So you go on as Bad News Baron, and you get your first. When you first streamed, did you do it with the idea in mind, or you just want to do it as an outlet? And then you said tips started to come in, and you're like, hey.
Oh, it was an outlet. I thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funny. I made a YouTube video first, and it was showing a voice attack profile that I'd made called Brian. And Brian was a smart-ass voice attack profile, and he would just be completely rude and derisive the entire time that you're engaging with him. And I would write entire scripts and memorize them between myself and Brian, so that I can engage in conversation with them, and it would seem very natural and funny to anybody who was watching. So I did the YouTube video. The YouTube video was popular, so I was like, I bet I could do this live. And so I did it live, and I thought it was fun. But I never thought at that point that I would be doing it full-time.
Got it. Okay, so you start streaming as Bad News Baron. In your first couple months, you said some tips started to come in, and then then you started to put your business acumen into your stream. What was one of the first things you remember focusing on after you kind of, I guess, had the idea that it could be somewhere down the line full time? Do you remember?
Organizing other streamers.
Okay. What did you first do?
I started reaching out to other Star Citizen streamers even before I was partnered, and trying to get a group of people who could coordinate and help. I think this was before the actual hosting system was in on Twitch, but could sort of pool their viewership and move viewership around so that people would be more likely to find you through somebody else and find other entertainers that they liked. That was important. Also setting up a website so people could talk to each other. We had some forums back then that are still up but not very used very much anymore. That were important so that people could maintain the conversation even when I was offline.
Very cool. Okay, so as you're going through as a part-time streamer and you're still working at this at the company like
Saddleback, yeah.
Saddleback. At what point were you like, okay, see you later, Saddle Ranch or Saddle?
When I was
Saddle Ranch?
Saddleback.
Saddleback.
Yeah, that happened when I was fired.
You got fired?
I got fired.
Why?
So they were they had a lot of production issues. We were short on stock because they kept having trouble with their production facility in Mexico. So Dave, the founder, decided that he was going to buy the production facility. He already owned half of it, so he was going to buy it outright. He bought it, but it ended up being less profitable than he had hoped for the first few months, and he ended up losing some money on it. So he decided, in order to make up for that, he was going to cut a lot of positions. So a lot of people got cut. Mine was one of them. So it was unfortunate. I'd been streaming it 6 months at that point. So that's when it was like, all right, it's either you make it or you don't.
Got it. And what you remember about how many months in did you get partnered?
6 months.
Okay, so
it was about 3 or 4 days after I got fired that I got my partnership.
Very serendipitous, or
very serendipitous.
Okay, so you get fired. I thought you might have. I mean, I assumed you got fired for maybe not doing your job because you're
no. I wasn't streaming too much. They still don't know that I was a streamer. I did my job fine.
Okay.
It was just budget cuts, and they laid off the marketing department. Decided to go just to their core staff. So.
Okay. So you get canned, and then you get your partner button a few days later.
Yeah.
And then was there any limbo for you? Where like I need to find another job, or you're just like, all right, this is my chance to go full time. What was that decision making like for you?
So I thought that I could do it for 6 months and see if it would become viable in 6 months. And if at the end of that time, at least I'd had some fun and I could job search. Mm-hmm. The first, I think 3 or 4 months that I was a full-time streamer, I was pretty much taking a loss. It was before that I'd hoped, but the way that we were growing, I was thinking that I could probably be, in the clear soon enough if I kept at it really hard. And that ended up working out well. But yeah, the plan was always, all right, let's go at it as hard as we can. And if nothing else, this will be extra income while you're trying to job search and find something else.
And you're having a good time doing it.
And I'm having a good time doing it. So I luckily never had to get that other job.
Okay. At what point, so, I mean, that's definitely an inherent risk to throw it all in and say, at least for you, I mean, you had a plan in place. You said 6 months. If it doesn't work out, all right, I gave it a shot, had fun. But for you, I mean, that's a huge risk to do that.
Yeah.
What made it okay for you to take that risk? So, I always think maybe there's someone else watching right now that's considering doing the same thing. How did you make that decision and essentially say, I'm going to do this?
Well, I was already fired. So I was like, well, I'll just delay the job search for a little while. Financially, I looked at it. I knew that I could do it. It was important to me to at least try. So I felt that I could safely do it.
Okay.
Given my own finances, I was doing okay. So it worked out. It's a hard decision. I really don't recommend new people quit their jobs and become full-time streamers without being able to take like a hit of at least half their income from streaming.
Did you tell your family what you were doing?
Yeah.
How did that conversation go?
I don't entirely remember. It went positively. I think the biggest thing was getting them to understand what it actually was, like what Twitch actually was. But they were supportive of the idea the entire time.
Got it.
So there was never a point they were like, you want to play video games for a living? They were just like, okay, well, if you think you can do it, we believe in you. So they were good.
Do you know, has your family ever tuned in to one of your streams?
Yeah, all the time. Okay. All the time.
Dude,
yeah.
That's cool. All right. So you make the decision to go full time. And at what point in that 6 months were you like, all right, we made it? Or you felt to the point where you're like, okay, I can comfortably not go in the red every month and do this?
Probably when I hit 500 subscribers for the first time, and that was, I think, in the spring of 2015.
Okay.
I was running a really big high of the Elite Dangerous launch. We're getting tons and tons of viewership and new followers from that, and so I thought, okay, we're finally we're doing okay. If this keeps growing like this, we'll be fine.
Okay. So then spring of 2015 comes, ED drops. It's going well. It's going well. It's going well. I know there was, I don't want to call it pinnacle, but I know it went really well at, one point. I'm not saying it's not well now, but I was there when that happened because I've been a lurker of your community. I love your community. And then I've been a little bit more vocal as of late. But that moment, can you tell us about that moment? Because that was pretty awesome to watch.
I'll tell you what makes that moment more awesome. So I peaked essentially soon after I hit 500 subscribers in like February, and then in April I hit a growth plateau, and then it dropped completely. And over the summer of 2015, there was no content for Elite Dangerous. There was no content for Star Citizen, the games that I built my community on. I lost 90% of new traffic. I lost half my viewership. I lost more than half of my subscribers, a third of my Patreon. And it was, for months, it was the most stressful experience I've ever been in, because I thought, well, maybe it was a fluke and maybe I'd made a terrible, terrible mistake. It turns out that's just a cycle that happens every year on Twitch, and it's a completely normal thing for broadcasters. But
wait, so you would wake up and see like your subs go down, you see your traffic go down, like the sky's falling.
Every day viewership was a little bit lower. Every day subs would go down. And it was like slowly being fired over the course of months. It was like bleeding to death, and it made me just depressed all the time. I was no fun on stream, which of course made viewership even worse because I was having such a bad time, and I was about ready to quit in November. And I put out a letter saying, hey, this is my last month. I can't do it anymore. Sorry, guys. I love you all very, very much.
November of 16? I'm sorry, 15.
2015, yeah. So this was last November. And I said, if things don't turn around in the next month, then I have to call it quits. And that was the month that 2.0 finally dropped for Star Citizen. And things went crazy. And my plight got some attention on Reddit. And everybody was very, very gracious to me. And we ended up having, I think, like 3 weeks straight of 1,000 viewer streams. I ended up going from, I think, 250 something subscribers up to 1,000 within about a month and a half. It was unreal, and that turned it all around. And things have been going okay. And of course, it's sliding down again. I think we're now at 650 subs. And that initial giant spike, I was expecting to fall off a bit, but I understand Twitch a lot better now, and I know the opportunities that are ahead a little bit better now. So I feel more comfortable, not quite as afraid when the numbers don't do as good as I hope they will.
And you said this is like a cycle or a system in which things always plummet like that. What do you attribute that to? I mean, I know you'd mentioned as a lack of like space content for you to cover, but at a macro level or higher level, from a Twitch standpoint, what does that mean?
On Twitch, you're a streamer. You've probably seen this, and on YouTube as well. Game releases kind of go in a cycle the way that movie releases go. So there's going to be big periods of time where there's lots of AAA releases and a whole bunch of stuff comes out, and then there's going to be a few months where nothing really happens. Traditionally in the games industry, the middle of summer is sort of a slow time for big releases. There's fewer stuff hopping out. There's a few indie games and things, but it's just kind of slow. So everybody normally takes a traffic hit in the summers, and maybe some of that is school's out, people are out doing stuff instead of watching Twitch. Whatever the reasons may be, normally across the board there's traffic dips in a genre like with space games, and I don't really have many other genre streamers to compare to, because you're concentrated to a specific area of games. You tend to feel that drought even worse when that stuff hits, and because that stuff has hit, you can't really even transition over to other types of games very easily because your audience is used to one specific niche. So while I think genre streaming is good for getting started with streaming, it has its disadvantages once it gets to a slow period.
Do you regret going space sim only from the start?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I love this community.
In the future, what are you doing to, you hate to put it like this, but hedge your bets or protect yourself against those down months? I can think of one thing, but I would see, is there anything streaming related that you're doing?
Really, my hope is that I only have to do this until Star Citizen gets closer to release. And at some point, Star Citizen is going to be trending higher and higher in the Twitch directory, and at that point, we should be good to go. That hasn't happened yet, so maybe around the time that Star Marine releases. There are a few games this summer that are going to be cool, like Dreadnought, No Man's Sky. Those are going to be awesome. But really, I feel like there's a point probably where you hit a critical mass as a streamer where you can transition your audience into other games, maybe other new releases and stuff, and you start going more variety. I don't want to go that route permanently at all. I wouldn't be where I am without Space Sims, because the Space Sim community is such a weird niche on Twitch. So that's always my thing.
Does it baffle you at all that, I mean, if you click on Star Citizen in the Twitch directory, there may be 12 streamers at a time, and there really, I mean, and this is no disrespect to anyone, there may be one or two that you recognize. I mean, as a Star Citizen fan, I mean, does that baffle you at all? For such a,
that there's not bigger streamers doing Star Citizen?
Yeah, or that there's not more people streaming the game, and because in its current state, I believe, I may be a little biased, I believe it's a lot of fun, and I go to Twitch when I'm working out or whatever, and I try to find people playing the game, and there aren't really that many people that are streaming it.
I think it's hard for new broadcasters to get a foothold in Star Citizen, because there's already a few broadcasters at any given time who have sort of that foothold. The limited audience that there is on Twitch is already pretty much engaged. And for larger streamers coming up, a lot of them have had trouble, it seems like, getting on board with the flight sim aspect of Star Citizen. I've seen Lyric pop in, I've seen Waffle pop in, I've seen a few other larger streamers come into Star Citizen. JP came in, and normally they play around for 30 minutes to an hour, and they sort of have a lot of trouble with the controls, and then they leave, sometimes frustrated. I think when there's more of a first-person shooter experience that's more like traditional gaming, that will probably change a bit. But that's a good thing and a bad thing. If there were lots of big streamers here, the smaller streamers, like myself, wouldn't really be able to flourish very much. But at the same time, that limited audience is also the biggest, stopper for growth. So you hit a cap.
Got it. And so with that in mind, we talked about not hedging your bets, but there's having some sort of a plan to deal with that dip. And one of the things that I've thought was brilliant, and I want to talk more about it now, is you created something called Stream Academy.
Yes.
Can you talk about first what that is for people that don't know, and then second, where that idea came from?
Oh, I see where you're taking that now. Okay. Yeah. So Stream Academy, I created, one, because I really, really, really love education and teaching people things. I've always had something to say about whatever it is I'm doing, because I get really passionate about whatever I'm doing. So if I feel like I have an opinion to share, I try to find an outlet to share that. Stream Academy is also a way so that hopefully I can build a secondary business around Twitch and not be so stressed out when things are going down. It's really a matter of surviving until there's more of an audience on Twitch for Star Citizen. When that happens, you won't have to worry about it as much. But Stream Academy it's like an online course lesson plan for people who want to become streamers. And so it's meant to be the roadmap that I never really had as a broadcaster, in terms of what to do for growth, common mistakes, how to set up equipment, how to network with people, how to basically not suck.
And so for you, where did that idea come from? Did you look around and they're like, wow, there's nothing out there? Or,
yeah,
how did that go from an idea to executed, where you have a booth at PAX South, you're on the floor the entire time talking? Every time I walked by there was someone there. And I know sometimes it was the Star Citizen community, which was awesome. I'd go by there and see people on with the test.
Test was there big.
Yeah, I saw the logos. Disco Lando was there. So there's a lot of people supporting you. I know that were from the sim community, but at the same time, there were a lot of people there. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. So yeah, as you said, I looked around and there was nobody else doing any sort of guided lesson or structured lessons for streaming, and I thought, well, this is a thing that makes sense to do. So I did it, and originally I did it out of my Patreon page, and I did it for $50 a month. I had a set core group of articles, and I would teach people the articles. I'd work with them one on one, and I would just try to make sure that they felt comfortable streaming and that they had a good plan going forward. And then that ended up being really, really popular in my channel, and I couldn't really keep up with how many people wanted to do it at once. So I took it offline for a few months, and I rebuilt it into its own website. I expanded the articles by like 3 or 4 times. Like they're just massive now, and I restructured the program, and I relaunched it. And so I decided to relaunch it in the new website at PAX South, not really knowing what kind of response that I would get. But yeah, it was like a huge response, and it was really, really cool. The booth was always packed. We put on a panel at PAX South that I thought like 40 people would show up to if we were lucky, and it was me, it was Disco Lando, who's the Star Citizen community manager, Jared Huckabee, and it was Ed Lewis, who's the community manager for Elite Dangerous. And so we all got up on stage together as the community managers of the 2 rival space games and myself, and we did a presentation on creating a 1-year business plan for streaming, and 650 something people showed up there.
It was packed. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, like there was when I walked upstairs to where the panel was going to be, there were people lined up and sitting on the floor who had been out there for like an hour beforehand to get inside, and I thought that was, I panicked. I almost had a breakdown. Like I started hyperventilating. I had no idea, but it was really cool.
That's awesome. And so for people that want to find out more about Stream Academy, where do they go?
I go to stream-academy.com is the website, and we have the syllabus and some course information up on there, as well as the blog has some sample articles and things. It's a little taste of what we do.
That's awesome. You know, it's cool to see how everything's come full circle. I was smiling when you're saying that you expanded the articles, because I went back to thinking about you first doing that for eye care and for mortgages, and yet those same skills became
UCP
useful,
University.
Yeah, for something that you actually care about and want to share and educate people on. And I think, you know, for those, fortune favors the brave, you know, and you put yourself out there in many different ways, and it's cool to see the success you're having and the passion you have behind it.
Thank you, sir.
And that's why I wanted to have you on the show, is because you're doing so many unique things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious, and throughout the process, you know, as your success has grown, you haven't changed. You know, you're very humble, and you're very entertaining, and you're just a good dude. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, because
Thank you.
You're doing so many cool things. And to me, if someone's doing cool things, they have a cool story that needs to be heard. So
I appreciate that.
So thank you so much for coming on. We're going to transition to the next segment, but before that,
Okay.
What can people expect from you in the next few weeks, few months, in terms of your stream? People that want to tune in to see you, what can they expect to see besides, you know, maybe an appearance by Darth Vader playing Star Citizen with a voice modulator, which was brilliant, by the way. But
so I mean, it all depends on like what kind of stuff is released, but we're going to be starting up at some point like a weeknight, sort of a late night talk show kind of thing, in the style of The Daily Show. That's going to be focused on space sim news, particularly Star Citizen. I need to get a good suit for that one, so that'll be kind of fun.
The leather jacket, maybe.
No, I feel like I have to do it like a proper suit. Like if I'm going to be the new show host, then I should do the suit.
What about? Let me throw this idea to you. What about leather jacket, a collared shirt, and a leather tie?
Maybe that sounds sci-fi.
Would you consider it? Maybe at least for one show, would you do it?
I'll do it for one show.
Okay. I just popped in my head.
Right.
Okay, so that's going to be coming out. If people tune into one of your quote-unquote normal streams, or what's a daily stream? First off, when can they see you? And what's a daily stream look like for you? What's your schedule?
So now, I mean, I've been trying to stream every day, but it really hasn't been happening. For the longest time, I've been streaming Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Central Time. And that's been the set schedule. So weekend streams are coming as soon as I can find a weekend that actually is free. So we've been doing lots of stuff. Like this coming weekend, I'm going to be at South by Southwest, which is going to be super cool. Yeah, so that's the normal set schedule, and then I think that show would be later in the evenings, probably around 8 or 9 Central Time. Yeah,
When
good stuff. More multi streams with Bad News Gaming as well. It's a team stuff we're going to start doing.
Very cool. Any information on when you would start the Space Sim Daily Show, roughly?
No, it's all very preliminary. I don't even have like a show Bible or anything built for that.
Got it. Okay,
it's just an idea I'm kicking around.
Got it. Well, I think it'd be a great idea, especially if you wore the leather jacket. But that being said, before we go to break, we do something here we like to call 21 questions.
Yes.
And these are 21 questions that have been specifically tailored for you. And it's an option question. So it'll be like blue or red. And what we're looking for here is your gut reaction. So we're not looking for him and hong. We're not looking for rationalization if you get a particularly tough question. We just want your true gut reaction. And the audience often judges the success of this segment for the guest based on how seemingly authentic and quick the answer is. Because we assume a quick answer is a real answer. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But you can answer however you'd like.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. First question. You recently just got back from a trip to Hawaii. So Hawaii or Texas?
Hawaii.
Okay. You've mentioned in your college days and after spending some time with you at PAC South, you enjoy an adult beverage. Do you like scotch or bourbon?
Scotch.
Okay. Favorite ship manufacturer, RSI or Aegis Dynamics?
RSI.
Okay.
I'll say it's Anvil, personally.
Okay.
Anvil. I like Anvil.
Okay. Anvil.
I have a beef with Aegis.
Okay. Favorite creative Twitch stream, Bob Ross or Piano Man?
Piano Man.
Okay. We know that you have a jacket that is much like Harrison Ford's, not much like, identical. But we also know that you're a fan of Star Citizen and Chris Roberts, and we can assume Star Wars, and someone that starred in the Wing Commander series. So the question is Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford.
Okay. We know that you're a big fan of everything space. If we were to look at your Twitter timeline, we see a lot of things. You open your stream with a very unique way, talking about space and the dynamic.
Carl Sagan, yeah.
Yes, Carl Sagan. And so which space company do you prefer, NASA or SpaceX?
SpaceX.
Okay. When Star Citizen opens its floodgates and the full game is released, are you going to play as a bounty hunter or a pirate?
Pirate.
Okay. Best Twitch emote, Kappa or what face?
Kappa.
Okay. Elite Dangerous or Wing Commander 2?
Oh, and there's the pause. Elite Dangerous.
Okay.
That's going to crucify me here, but Elite Dangerous.
Just so you know, we're through the first 9. They get a little bit more difficult, shall we say.
Okay. All right.
Just preparing you for that. All right. Next question. You can only pick one. Dual joysticks or rudder pedals?
Dual joysticks.
Okay. Never play Star Citizen again the rest of your life, or never stream again on Twitch?
Never stream on Twitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there is Hitbox. Hitbox is available.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else besides Twitch.
Wow.
I would struggle in some other format. I make YouTube videos. That's what I do.
That's very telling, because considering you survive or you live from a substantial portion of your income comes from Twitch. And the thing I love about that answer, and I'm trying not to be biased, there was not a whole lot of hesitation in that.
No.
Okay. All right, next one. Kilrathi or Vandal?
Vandal.
Captain Richard or DJ Knight?
Oh, why you gotta do that to me? You know what? Captain Richard, DJ has to earn it. He hasn't earned his wings yet.
Okay. Who would win in a dogfight? Sandy Gardner or Edward Lewis, the Elite Dangerous community manager?
With an Xbox controller, it would be Ed Lewis.
Okay. Next question. Own a Javelin in Star Citizen, or have one of those 180-degree space sim displays that you could
180 degree. Well, I want to say 180 degree space sim display, but immediately after I said that, I went, oh, but how could you stream from something like that? So if I could find a way to stream from that, then the 180 degree display. Otherwise, the Javelin. You gotta go be practical.
Okay, so you'd pass up on the Javelin.
Javelin. Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
All right. Next question. I need to preface this by saying stuffed. Light a stuffed pink fluffy unicorn on fire, or go completely hairless for a year. Completely hairless. Eyebrows.
I would go completely hairless for 1 year before desecrating our Lord and Savior Fluffy. You will burn for such insolence.
Oh, wow. Not for our audio listeners. I think you've just probably scared the hell out of them, but that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. All right. Next question. Chris Roberts or George Lucas?
Chris Roberts.
Okay. X-Wing or Hornet?
Hornet.
No,
I'm sorry. X-Wing. I didn't understand that question fully. I'm sorry. I like the X-Wing a lot more than I like the Hornet.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris.
Bad News Gaming or Test Squadron?
B&G.
Okay. Best Chris Roberts movie? Wing Commander or Lucky Number 11?
Lucky Number 11.
Okay. And last question. Disco Lando or Ben Lesnick?
Disco.
Wow.
Unless it's Cuddles, in which case Ben.
There wasn't a whole lot of hesitation. I thought that might have been the most difficult question. But it wasn't.
No.
I mean,
no,
I thought sometimes we can tune in your stream and see an animated GIF of Ben dancing with a helmet on your stream. So I thought maybe you might be a little more. No.
I love Ben.
No,
I
you've
love
already
Ben
thrown him
a
to
lot.
the wolves. Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm not going to throw him to the wolves.
You just did.
I just say I love Ben a lot, but I don't really have a personal relationship with him the way that I have a personal relationship with Jared.
Got it. Well, with that being said, Bad News Baron, you've survived 21 questions. I think you did a hell of a job. And right now we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 3 short minutes. When we return, we're going to put Bad News Baron through the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge to see how he stacks up score-wise and performance-wise on the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge. And one of the things I didn't tell you, Matt, is that the points leader at the end of Season 1 wins a physical championship belt for Season 1 of Shooting Stars Live. So it's not just Pride you're playing for. You're playing for some hardware as well.
Ooh. Bring it.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to put Matt through the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge, which is our version of American Gladiators. We'll be back in 3 short minutes. Welcome back, everyone, and now is the time we've all been waiting for. We know Baron can play Space Sims with the best of them, but how can he do in the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge? Baron, are you nervous at all? Do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah, I'm getting myself into a game that you've played before and I haven't.
You've never played this?
Not Quake Live.
You've never
played? I guess I played the original Quake, so all right.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, so for those of you guys that have never seen the show before, we put Baron through a series of 3 gaming challenges. The first of which is Quake Live. And Baron, I'm going to give you the rules right now. Okay, so the first game we're playing is Quake Live. And the way this works is we will be playing 2 5-minute rounds on 2 different maps. Okay, there is no penalty for you for deaths. So you can die as many times as you want. You can kill as many times as you want. You score points by killing myself or the 2 bots. So it'll be Baron will be on the red team. The bots and myself will be on the blue team. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you get 25 points for each kill, and we're going to play 2 5-minute rounds. Where would you say your level of FPS skill is at?
5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. Okay, so better than average.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and... So what's going to happen is to make this completely unbalanced, the match is going to start, and then it's going to pause right away, so we could go 3 versus 1. Okay?
Okay.
So it's going to start, but not really.
Prepare your team.
Hang on 1 second.
1.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it here. So for those of you guys watching at home, Baron is going to be on the red team, and myself, Orb, and Angel are going to be on the blue team. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
No. Do it.
You should be.
Come on, sucker, bring it.
All right, good luck, man. We're going to get started here in 3 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Good luck, man. So,
Bring it. No.
as a kid,
No. No. Oh, screw you. Oh.
as a kid,
As what?
as a kid, you said you played, you know, a lot of Space Sims. Did you play any? What was your first FPS game you ever played?
Probably Halo.
Halo, really?
I'm sure that that's wrong, but that's the one that I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
Did you play any FPS or PC FPS games?
Really big into Half-Life 2.
Okay.
Loved Half-Life 2.
Were you I know you said you were into consoles. Were you a GoldenEye kid or no?
Not really. I never really enjoyed GoldenEye that much, and I was alone among my friends for that. I couldn't get into it. I like doing the space games a lot more.
Do you have a favorite single-player space game of all time?
Yeah, probably Free Space 2. Keep going back to that one, but yeah.
Okay. Have you played? How many Chris Roberts games have you played? Did you play any of the Wing Commanders or anything like that?
I didn't when I was a kid. I went back and I streamed all the Wing Commander games. I'm doing awful. I went back and I streamed all of the Wing Commanders, and that was a ton of fun. But I played Privateer, and I played Freelancer, and really those are my the extent of my Chris Roberts titles when I was a kid.
Got it. What was your favorite Wing Commander since you played them all?
Oh, finally. I think my favorite Wing Commander was 1, just because of the stupid character of Shot Glass, who I loved to make stupid voices for. I loved Shot Glass.
Why?
Because whenever I saw him, we do all the voice acting for him, and so I made him sound like, "Hello, Commander. I'm Shot Glass. It's so nice to see you again. How was your mission?" And I had fun whenever he was on the screen.
See, I would take you for a Maniac guy or an Iceman guy, personally. That's what I thought you were. No?
I mean, I like once you get to the later Wing Commanders, I like Maniac a lot, but not really up until that point.
Biff Tannen.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the real reason. God.
All right, real quick update. Baron has 2 frags with 2:30 left to go in the match.
Wait, so I can't hit the actual NPCs, can I?
No, you can.
Oh, I can?
Yeah, you can kill them.
God, you're a Counter-Strike pro too.
No, so those kills count. It doesn't matter if you kill me or them.
Okay.
And they're a little bit less skilled than me. I'm not great at this, but it's alright. So this first map, if you're not into FPSs, this one's a little bit tougher than the second one because it's this first map we play is very open. The next one we play there's a lot of corridors, and
why won't you die, Fembot? There we go.
Come on. When Star Marine comes out, what do you think your role is going to be in that? Are you going to just humor it, or do you think you can see yourself getting into it?
Oh, I think I'm going to get way into it. I really love single-player games, and I love stories, and so that's. I think I might be more excited to that than I am the PU for some reason. I don't know why.
Did I say Star Marine or did I say Squadron 42? I don't know.
Maybe you said Star Marine and I misheard you.
Okay, so no. I meant I probably said Squadron 42, but I meant Star Marine.
Okay. Star Marine. My role in Star Marine. I don't know. I'm not really a sniper. I do okay in support roles, so I might be doing a bit of support. Nobody likes to do support, so that might be a good one for me.
Got it.
1 minute warning.
What's your dream scenario with Star Citizen? Have you played through? We know you're a creative writer. We know you like setting up scenarios. Is there like a fictional but real thing that you want to experience in Star Citizen, like stealing an Idris or like overcoming the odds? Is there any like romantic, not like dating, but like romantic situations you want to?
I've said before that nobody's allowed to invite me onto their Idris. Their 890 jump because I'm gonna kill them and steal their ship. The thing that I really want to do the most is start a character with absolutely nothing, no credits, no ships, and have him work his way up as a pirate.
Okay.
And basically just take odd jobs until he can get to the point where he's, self-sufficient and has his own ship. So, however I need to do that, whether it's stealing somebody's ship. So I imagine myself doing random jobs and then just stealing a ship when I can. That'll be fun.
All right, so first round's over. You need to back out and then rejoin me because I got to change maps.
Okay.
But Baron scored 7 kills, which is, I'd say it's probably the average score. So it's not...
Oh!
So you're okay. I mean, it's not the worst. So...
All right, so main menu.
And then just give me 1 second. I'm going to change the map here.
Okay.
And then you will join the exact same way in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
So with this, does this character have a name that you have?
Oh, I don't have any names for my characters yet.
No names for your characters.
No, I mean the main one will probably be something BadNewsBaron. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should hide it. I have a feeling I'll be a walking target if I name my character BadNewsBaron.
In terms of this, we'll just call him the poor pirate. Is there any? What would your first ship be that you would buy? I mean,
whatever I get my hands on. Like, I'm thinking that I won't buy anything that I think I might want to see if I can steal one off the bat by like being a crew member, but being, I don't know, just murder my captain.
Like a filthy pirate.
Yeah.
In terms of one of the things I didn't ask you, and this is a loaded question, but what do you think currently the worst ship in the game is? I would say worst. Your least favorite ship playable ship in the game.
Probably the Cutlass.
Because of the gimbaled engines, or?
Yeah, it doesn't handle very well. The weapons on it are really weak. The hard points don't make much sense, and it's just a massive target that blows up easily. So in no real way is it good in any role.
And you just think because that's not optimized?
Yeah, I mean they're going to be rebuilding the entire thing again, and the way that the engines work, like main engines aren't even in the game yet in Star Citizen. Like everything is going off of the different maneuvering thrusters. So at some point the flight model is going to completely change, which I don't think a lot of people really understand yet. At some point you're going to have a lot more thrust going forward than you are going to side. Right now you can go backwards or side at the same amount of power that you can go forwards. So everybody's going to have to relearn to fly again.
You can, okay, cool. You can try. What do you mean? So, because I don't know that. Explain that to me. So basically the thrusters are all equal in every direction right now?
Pretty much. A little bit less in the sides, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, the main engine just doesn't really exist. It doesn't really have any effect on the movement of the ship. Okay. Or at least that's how I understand things.
But at the same time, the thrusters work in a way that if one gets damaged, I mean, you definitely feel it.
Right. So the maneuvering thrusters are in, but I wouldn't say that... when I say thruster, I mean the main engine. The main engine is not really doing much.
Okay. All right, cool. We're going to get this round started. It's going to pause again real quick so we can unbalance the teams. What's your prediction? You got 7 kills in the first round. What's your prediction for...
I'm going 8.
You're going 8. Okay.
I'm going 8.
Let me move Orb over to the evil
10.
side here.
I'm going 10.
You're going to go 10.
I'm going 10.
Would you bet your Idris on it?
No.
Okay.
3.
All right, good luck, man.
No, heartbeat.
So Baron's representing the red team. Trying to get a respectable score. He's called his shot, much like a Babe Ruth said. He's guaranteeing 10 kills, and he's gonna back it up by betting his Idris. Speaking of betting, which has nothing to do with betting, are there any space or any TV shows that you're currently into? Or are you not a TV guy?
There are TV shows. I just finished Mr. Robot. And I thought it was amazing. I'm not a huge Expanse fan yet. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I always thought it was just okay.
Will you tell us the premise? I know the guy from Lost is in it, but I haven't seen it. What's the premise of that show?
I'm out of ammo. Shit.
Oh, you got quad damage. Not anymore.
The premise of that show, it's basically just like, what the hell? What even was that?
You had quad damage. You had it. Which, I don't think... You want to stay away from glowing fingers, people that are glutens.
Understood. Oh!
You said it's essentially what?
There's conflict between the Earth and Mars hates the Earth, and There's like they're fighting over resources and stuff, and it's some sort of intrigue plot with terrorism and stuff.
Got it. Did you see The Martian?
I did see The Martian. The Martian was amazing.
Did you read the book before?
I did not read the book before.
But you enjoyed.
I don't even know about it before.
You enjoyed it, The Martian?
I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I thought it was Matt Damon did great.
If NASA afforded you the option to do let's just say they afforded you the option to be in a training program that would simulate Mars, say for 18 months,
Sure.
would you do that?
Yes.
You would.
That'd be a once in a lifetime experience. I think that'd be a lot of fun. They're doing that right now in Hawaii, actually, because it's the closest that we have to a Mars-like environment.
Didn't they like put something out there in the press where it's like, hey, we'll pay you X amount, but you have to subject yourself to, how does that work? Like a bubble, or was it the sleep? Like laying down for 12 months or something?
I'm not sure. I don't know a whole bunch about it, so I haven't heard about that.
Got it.
God, they're all grouped up.
Would you go to Mars if you know you could live there and sustain life but never come back?
No.
Never.
Family connections are more important.
What if you could like
personally.
Skype and play Star Citizen with them?
I still don't think so. Humans are very social people. I just don't think I'd do well.
What about if you weren't the only person? Say they brought like 16 people from all walks of life. Guaranteed you can survive. Guaranteed you can play Star Citizen. Would you then consider?
But would I love, Dan? Would I love?
What if? I mean, there's a chance that you could fall in love with one of the limited.
Sure, why not? I mean, it's one of those important things that we need to do is start colonizing the moon and Mars and getting outside of our terrestrial bubble. And it would be really, really cool to be a part of that. I just don't know if I'm the right person to do it. Like a lot of people like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go on board. But like when you sit and think about it, that would be a devastatingly isolating experience, especially on Mars, with no access to like just trees or the beach or sand or any sort of outside. You'd live the rest of your life indoors. It's really kind of depressing to think about it. So the people who do eventually do it have my utmost respect.
All right, let me lob a more realistic scenario. Okay, so SpaceX develops their first commercial, if you will, flight to the moon, and money is not an object, but
oh hell yeah!
But oh, you get a nice kill. But there's a 25% chance the mission or the experience is gonna fail. Would you take that gamble? A 10-day trip to the moon.
There's a 20% chance that the experience it's gonna fail?
Yes, meaning the ship you may get stuck there or may blow up on the way.
Yes.
You would still do it? You'd roll the dice?
Yeah. I'd roll the dice.
Okay. All right. Real quick, Bad News Baron has 4 kills with 15 seconds left in this round.
No.
But he would go to Mars with the 20% chance
Oh.
of never coming back. 2 seconds left. 1 second. All right, we're gonna chalk Baron up for.
I lost
4 kills on that round.
If you add them together, what does it make?
It makes 11, which
Yeah.
in terms, just so you know, our all-time leader. I just have
I don't want to know this.
It's not fair because we did have we had a gold medal winning Halo Pro player and he.
That's awesome.
Won. But
yeah.
But you were respectable. Definitely not the worst.
This is like the reasonably priced car thing on Top Gear. This is awesome.
That's what I was trying to go for. Not a lot of American people understand what Top Gear is, but that's what I was trying to simulate with this.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of simulating, let's go ahead.
Who did I beat?
Well, let me give you this so far. From a score standpoint, your collective score on Quake was 275. Actually, I stand corrected. The Pro Halo player had a score of 600.
Okay.
So our highest performer in Quake had a combined score of 975.
Oh God.
But you're not the worst. You're not the worst.
Okay.
And the good news is you still have a chance. Each round, the points get increasingly larger. So
All right.
Quake isn't the most important, but from here on out, things get pretty important for you. If you want to hoist the Season 1 championship belt over the Bad News Gaming community and be their icon. But if you want to get into Brawlhalla right now, I'll explain the rules.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
So the way Brawlhalla works is we're going to play 4 3-minute matches. Okay? Each of our matches is going to be a different game mode. And I'll explain what each game mode is as we get into it. But for each match that you win, so it's just going to be one-on-one, you win 250 points. So you have the chance to pick up 1,000 points if you win all 4 matches. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And for people that have never seen Brawlhalla, the best way to describe it is a flat 2D Smash Brothers. That's the best way to describe it. Oh, I see. You got your control.
I'm ready.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready. Oh, yeah.
Are you able to join me?
I should be.
Okay.
Yes.
It's been somewhat confirmed in the chat that was the second worst Quake score of all time, but but it's not the worst. It's not the worst.
Put me in a cockpit, dang it.
Yes, Wes. If we're doing Vandal Swarm, I don't think anyone would touch you or your leather jacket.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this first match, this is just going to be. Have you ever played Smash before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just a straight Smash simulation or style game. So you got to knock me off the edge. I got to knock you off the edge, and that's how we roll here. All right. 250
Have I in the last
points.
decade is the question. And the answer to that is no.
So I will. I'll let you. Not let you. I'll give you time to mess around with the control scheme.
Okay.
One of the things that's fairly important is your right button, not your right trigger, will throw a weapon, and that X for you picks up the weapon. So you'll see these kind of like sword in the stone things pop up a little bit, like here. If you want to, here, come pick up this weapon right here. I won't hit you. So if you hit X, that picks it up. Got it? Ready to go? So you want to not get knocked off.
Oh, we're going now. Okay, we're solid.
And you can chuck your weapon and trade it for another one. But yeah, good. You got it. You don't need. You wrote a guide for Star Citizen. You don't need me to explain to you how this game works.
I don't know about that.
No, you said you did. You wrote a guide for Star Citizen, right? Or some?
Yeah, I did.
What kind of guides did you write for it?
Woo! I can't even. Damn it, Dan.
That's part of the strategy.
Aha! Am I like Yosemite Sam? Oh, this is Smash. Nice.
Yeah. All right, so I got first strike, so I'm up 2 to -1, but there's plenty of time left on the clock. It's 2 to -1. By the way, I'm the gold pirate, and Baron is the red pirate. But what kind of guides? Seriously, what guides did you write for Star Citizen?
So I wrote some controller guides. I wrote speed guides, a few dogfighting tactics guides in terms of how to successfully approach Vandal Swarm.
What?
To get the most out of it.
Give me some tips on Vandal Swarm. Like, what would you? Oh, all right, cool. All right, so I'm up. It's actually 1 to 1. How you killed me?
I killed you.
Oh, I didn't. What's the beginner tip for Vandal Swarm? What's one thing you need to make sure you do if you want to go through all 18 waves?
You need to conserve your missiles.
Until when?
So probably until you get a missile reset every once in a while. Every 3 bosses.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, every 3 waves you get a missile reset. So you gotta. God dang, this is difficult when you're trying to.
You're focused on this.
I'm trying to be focused.
Oh. Get him.
Oh, that's what that does?
Yeah. So save your missiles until the end, like rounds 3, 6, 9, 12.
Yeah. So you want to save them basically for the boss waves.
No. All right. So 20 seconds left in this match. It's tied 1-1. Up, is he gonna make it?
No! Oh!
13 seconds left. I'm up 3. Nothing. No, no. 6, 5, 4, 3.
2, 1.
All right, not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
so close.
For someone that's never played Brawlhalla before, I was on the ropes. I was on the ropes. And the good news is, GG. You have 3 more rounds to score points. But nicely done. That's a great first showing. I'm not just saying that. All right, so the next game we're playing, this style of game is called Brawl Ball. And the way this one works is, I'm going to be a different guy, just so we don't confuse chat. I'm going to be the Bryn Angel Wings looking girl. All right, so the way this works is there's going to be a golden football looking thing in the middle of the field. And you have to pick that up. You can't, you can pick your character. You have to pick that up. You can't have a weapon. So you need to right button to chuck your weapon, pick up the ball, and effectively you have to run it into my end zone. You don't have to throw it in my end zone. You have to run it in there. Make sense?
Bryn.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Queen 9. Wait, so I'm sorry. Explain that again. You got to pick up the ball, run it into your end zone.
yes, you'll see. You're the blue team. I'm the red team. So I won't start. Oh, hold on. I gotta back out anyways.
1.
I didn't set the time. So you see those partitions?
Yeah.
Are you still in?
Yeah, I'm still in.
Okay. Let's go.
Custom.
You have to rejoin me. I forgot to set the.
Am I fighting an AI right now?
Yeah, back out of that game. So.
All right.
So you saw those partitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can run through your own partition, but you can't run through mine. Does that make sense? So if you have the ball and you're to my end zone, you have to go up and over the partition.
Okay.
But if you're in your own end zone, you can run right through it. It's a pretty
I think I
cool
understand.
game design. You'll figure it out, but I just wanted to give you a heads up with that. All right, so Baron's the blue team. I'm the red team. 3 minutes
3, 2,
on the clock.
1. Brawl.
Good luck. Oh, no! And I don't think there's no penalty for dying in this one. So it's just about
So I run into your end zone or my end zone?
you have to run it to the red end zone. Get in there.
God damn it.
All right, so it's 1 point per score. All right, so
right.
2:40 left on the clock, and you start with the ball now. Oh, come on. No! No! No!
Run it.
No! Oh, all right. Okay.
Deals.
All right, 1-1 with 2:20 on the clock. I think it's safe to say Baron has his Baronings right now. What's the worst pun you've ever? You have like a bad pun that you use on your stream ever or no?
Oh, a million. How am I supposed to get you?
So you can. Oh, nice. You can run through your own wall, so that will save you some time if you're playing defense. That makes sense. So I have to go up and over. If you go under, you'll catch me.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? So like there, yeah. There you go.
Deal with it.
Give me the bounce. All right. 1:40 left on the clock. 2-1.
All right. We got this.
All right. So you got the rock. Oh. No. No, get in. Different strat. Not a lot of people have done the throwing strat. Get in there. Defense. One on the clock.
No, I was there.
One on the clock.
I was there.
No.
Yes. Okay, we're good.
All right, 2-2, 1 minute left on the clock. Chad, who do you think is gonna pull this one off? It's a crapshoot right now. I'm gonna go Baron strat here. Let's try this out. Baron's. No one's gone the Chuck route. Maybe there's a reason for that. Get up there.
No.
No. Get in. No. Oh, that's good D right there. Stall tactics. There we go. No.
No, stop
20 seconds. No. All right, Baron
damn you.
strats. 15 seconds. Get in there. All right.
No!
10 seconds left.
Oh, it's impossible now. Oh, you know what? We're going long. We're going long.
2, 1.
All right, not bad, Baron. Baron,
Oh,
you're right in the
last second,
nitty-gritty.
That clutch score there.
You're
you
right.
jerk.
You're right there. All right, so, well, GG. Good game.
GG.
Next match we're going to play is called Bombsketball.
Okay.
And the way it works is there are 3 bombs that will respawn on the map, and it's your job to pick up the bomb and throw it at my target. So my target will be on the left, yours will be on the right.
Okay.
And then, so that's it. So you don't get any points for killing. It's just how many times can you hit my target with one of the bombs.
Understood.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna stick with Queen Nai.
Okay.
Because my inner warrior princess needs to come out here.
Okay. All right. And you just got to confirm your dude, and then we're good to go. I think you hit A. Cool.
Do that, please.
All right. So Bombsketball, good luck. There is a scum strategy, but I won't use it unless you figure it out. That's the general rule. So someone discovered a strategy that is... So you can also use bombs for defense too. If someone's getting a little too close to home. This is actually pretty hard. These targets are hard to hit. And the bombs will bounce too. If you want it. Alright. So 2:40 on the clock. No one's scored yet. That's okay. Oh! Oh, nice. Oh, nice shot. And you can pick up any bomb. It's not like you have to... I'm going with the bounce strats. Oh! Bounce! Oh, come on. Alright, so it's 1-1, 2:15 left on the clock. Plenty of time.
Oh! I'm gonna die.
That's okay. There's no penalty for dying on this one. I'm getting some shots off.
Come on. Respawn.
Get it! Did you block that? You blocked it.
I think I did.
1-1, 1:50 on the clock. Baron doing some defensive strats. 1:45 on the clock.
Damn it.
Come on. Oh.
Did I block it myself? Or what?
No, that counts. So you're up 2-1, 1:30 left on the clock.
No.
Oh. Man, you're the most defensive player. You've shown the most defensive prowess among all our guests. He's up 3-1, 1:15 left on the clock. Among all the guests we've had on the show. Come on. I'm getting some shots off. Getting some quality looks. You're just blocking all my quality looks. Oh. All right.
No!
Baron's up. I know you guys can't see the score. Baron is up 3-1 with 50 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time to make a move here. Plenty of time. I just need a bounce. Uh-oh. No. See, sometimes you gotta make a decision. You go for the... Baron, how much, like, how would you compare this to competitively swimming the 50-meter freestyle?
It's nothing alike.
Well, Baron's up 5-1. 20 seconds left. I gotta make a run at this thing. There we go, there's one.
Damn it.
5-2. 13 seconds left. Baron's gone into full defensive mode. 10 seconds left. I need a couple miracle shots here.
5,
No.
4, 3, 2.
Yeah!
Nicely done. Nicely done.
6-2.
All right, so...
Suck it, Giesling.
So Baron gets his first Brawlhalla win, racks up 250 points. Nicely done. Our last round of Brawlhalla is a game that is called Snow Brawl. Okay, and the way this works is same rules as the first one, so the stock battle, except you, instead of weapons, you get a unlimited supply of snowballs that regenerate. And every snowball that you get, that you connect on me, is 1 point. So depending on how you want to play it, you can either try to knock me off or continually peg me with a lot of snowballs. Either way, this is often the highest scoring round of Brawlhalla. Make sense?
Okay. Rules one more time.
Okay. So the way it works is it's like the same as just a smash game, right? So if you knock me off, you get points. However, the difference is there are no weapons. You have an unlimited amount of snowballs that you throw. So,
Okay.
so you can just spam snowballs attack. For every snowball that you hit me with, that's 1 point. A kill is worth 3. Got it?
Okay.
So normally the scores are somewhere in the 30s to 40s because it's just a spam fest of connecting on snowballs. Make sense? There you go. So right now you're up 1-0. All right. So Baron's up right now. Open up to a 3-2 lead. 4-2 lead. That's okay. We're just getting warmed up here. Oh no! No! All right,
yes!
So that was a big one for you. So with that, he got +3. He's up 8-2 because he got the peg and he got the kill. Baron is a blue character, by the way. All right, 10-5. Baron's up. Get off there.
Shit.
Right. 10-9. He's still up. 2:25 left on the clock. Let's pelt him with a series of ice crystals that he'll never forget. Back in his. Did you ever have snow in North Texas? Baron's up 15-11.
Yeah.
You know-
Always ice storms. Always ice storms.
Being an only child, did you get everything you wanted? Were you pretty spoiled?
Yeah. I was totally spoiled. Like, completely. It was disgusting.
Really?
Yeah. Got to go like cool places too, like travel and all sorts of stuff. Just because I was lucky.
Well, you're a law-abiding Eagle Scout too, so you probably earned some. So
God damn you!
All right, so 150 on the clock. I'm up 20-19, so it's a tight battle here. I'm gonna start. No. Check that. All right, that's a good one. 23-20. Baron's up. Minute 40 on the clock. All right. Baron, I'd say every round you've gotten better. You're like a fine
I was meant to be
scotch.
a Brawlhalla gamer. This is it. I'm quitting Space Sims.
Like a fine scotch. What's your favorite brand of scotch? Do you have one?
Monkey Shoulder, I think right now is one of my favorites.
Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah.
Baron's up 31-23.
That's a blend though. I do like a really good Glenlivet.
Glenlivet. Okay.
Glenlivet, maybe? Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. 32-29.
What? Yeah, 32-29. 1 minute left on the clock. Monkey Shoulder, is that like a North Texas?
It's really one that's in bars a lot. It's a blend that's pretty popular for cocktails and things.
Okay.
Um,
All right, it's 34-33. 40 seconds left on the clock. Baron's up. Yeah. 38-33. Here we go. 30 seconds left. All right, Baron. All right, 39-37. 27 seconds on the clock. Baron, you recently streamed on your way from Hawaii. Well, you streamed from Hawaii. You streamed from the CIG offices.
yes.
As a fan of the game and or Mr. Roberts, which I did see his appearance on that stream, what was that like for you? 39-39. 9 seconds left. No! No!
4,
No!
3, 2,
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes! Yeah! Victory jump off the side.
win.
As a fan of Chris Roberts, what, Dan Giesling?
Congratulations. So Baron went on a tear though. He won the last 2 rounds. He won that round 43-41. Baron,
God, that was close.
You're standing at the press podium and you just come off winning 2 straight Brawlhalla rounds. What do you have to say to everyone watching? How do you feel your performance was?
Well, I think I could have done better, but I gotta praise God. I gotta go to Disneyland, and basically I'm gonna go drink a whole bunch of Kool-Aid and Gatorade. No, Gatorade's a sponsor. Gatorade is the sponsor. I'm gonna drink Gatorade and pour it on myself.
Gatorade.
What is sports? What do sports people do? I don't know sports.
Sports.
We have to scrimmage yards, right, to get points.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so just a quick update score-wise. You scored 275 points in Quake Live, 500 points in Brawlhalla, giving you a total score of 775. Right now, to get on the leaderboard, the third place scoreboard, third place score is 2,725.
Oh.
Which, listen, you may say, hey, how do I get there? How do I get there?
How do I do it, Dan?
Here's how you get there. This last game, unbeknownst to you, what this game is that we play in the final round is a game I like to call, or we like to call, Your Life According to Others. And how this works is there are 8 questions. And prior to bringing you on the show, I sat down with one of your constituents, friends, one of your peeps.
Oh, God.
And I asked this person 8 questions about you. So, for example, I would say, hey, X, what would you say Baron's favorite fruit drink was? That's not what I asked him. And so you're going to have to guess what your friend said about you.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
For each correct answer, brace yourself here. Each correct answer is worth 500 points.
All right.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's a lot of
A
points.
lot of points.
I can get on the leaderboard with this.
You can.
Feel confident.
You can. All right, so the friend that we dialed up to partake in this, who was very gracious with his time, is a fellow space sim streamer known as Captain Richard. Okay? So I sat down with him
God damn it.
and had a nice chat, a very nice chat. Just going into this, where's your level of confidence in your ability for Captain Richard?
Captain Richard's a wild card.
Wild
He
card.
always has been. He always will be.
Okay.
He's the one person in BNG I know very little about.
Okay. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. First question is, let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. All right. All right. So I asked Captain Richard if he had to compare you to a celebrity lookalike, who would that be? Who is your celebrity lookalike according to Captain Richard?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Very quick, very decisive. Here we go. When we asked Captain Richard who Bad News Baron most resembled, his celebrity look like, here's what
Damn it,
Captain
Richard. God damn it, Richard. Come on, don't screw this up.
said.
I would say if Bradley Cooper was really, really into video games and was more of a redhead, then yes, that's who Bad News Baron would most remind me of.
Thoughts on that?
I get this a lot in my stream. People come in and say, hey, Baron, you don't look like you. You look like this guy. Most often, that's Ryan Reynolds. I
Ryan
don't think I look anything like him, but
Got it.
that's the most common answer, so I thought I would safe there.
That's okay. So
Of course, you go obscure. Of
no
course.
points, but you still have 7 opportunities at 500 to crack. All right. Next question is how. So I asked Captain Richard how he first met you. How did Captain Richard first meet you? You're pondering.
Like in person or just?
You can give us both because we have. I'm not the judge. We have a
All right.
third-party judge.
All right.
So if it's close, we're,
So in person, we first met in person. I believe it was at PAX East 2015.
okay.
Wait, no, that's yes. PAX East 2015. Streaming because of Test Squadron, because of Montoya, who's leader of Test, who was organizing Test streamers, told me to check out Captain Richard, so I went into his stream while he was streaming.
Okay. So when we asked Captain Richard how he first met you, here's what he said.
I believe the first time I met Bad News Baron in person was at PAX East. I believe that was 2014, and it was at a Cloud Imperium Games meetup where they were actually just showcasing some new technology live. And yeah, we got to rub beards then. It was
Our judges have awarded you the 500 points for a correct answer. Congratulations. That brings you to 1,275 points
All right.
with 6
God,
more
this
to
is
go.
nerve-wracking.
6 more to go. All right, next question. Let's go with this one. We'll go, what is the most embarrassing thing you know about Bad News Baron? So most embarrassing story. That's how the question was phrased to him.
We rubbed our beards together. and it was sensual.
Okay, final answer.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you rubbed.
We rubbed beards to get He's gonna say that or Bikini Baron. God damn it. I don't know. The one that involves him would be the beard rubbing. The one that doesn't involve him would be Bikini Baron, where I had to wear a bikini. You know what? I'm gonna go with my second idea here, and I'm gonna say Bikini Baron.
Okay, Bikini Baron, final answer.
Bikini Baron.
All right. When we asked Captain Richard what's the most embarrassing story he knows about you, here's what he said.
The most embarrassing story would have to be probably the beard rubbing I was just talking about.
Oh, no!
We joked about online 'cause we both have beards. His is a stunning, this deep reddish hue, and mine is a black hole of black beard. And that was something we joked about. That we actually did it in person, and then people took a lot of pictures. So,
What can you just tell me how does something like that even happen?
Well, when two people with beards like each other very much, what happens is a meeting of the beards because it's a magnetism. You see, the beards are drawn to each other, and we're both pulled by that force across the room.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're close. What the hell is Bikini Baron?
It was a meme in my channel for a long time that really had no basis. Just one day someone was hashtag Bikini Baron, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And everybody thought that was funny, so everybody continued that for a year until I finally relented. I said, you know what, if we had 1,000 subscribers, because we were really far away at that point, we were hundreds and hundreds away. I was like, you know what, if we ever hit 1,000 subscribers, sure, I'll laugh my way to Bikini Baron. And we did in like a week. And I had to wear a bikini on the stream.
And what did that look like? How did you go about picking said bikini?
Well, it was very tasteful. First of all, I think it was yellow with polka dots. And I wore a green suit, like a green screen green suit underneath it, and then I had the bikini on, so I was just a floating bikini with a head, which I thought left more to the imagination, which is in many ways more sexy.
All right. Well, you didn't get the points. We got the bikini story, which I think is worth something for you. But all right, let's go ahead and go to the next question, which is I asked Captain Richard what he thinks you will be doing when you're 80 years old. What do you think Captain Richard thinks you will be doing when you're 80 years old?
Playing Star Citizen.
Playing Star Citizen. Final answer.
It's too obvious an answer. This goes so many different ways, Dan. So many. There's not even like a narrow field here. This could be like way off of the. I mean, he could say that I'll be on on a yacht with a large beard, and I'll just be rubbing my beard the entire time. I don't know. I don't know what this twisted mind could say. And I think Star Citizen is too tame of an answer for him. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with Artisan Cheesemaker.
Okay, so
I'm confident, yeah.
Okay, final answer that at 80 years old you'll become an artisan cheesemaker. All right. Yes. When we asked Captain Richard what he thought Bad News Baron was going to be doing at 80 years old, here's what he said.
I would say when Bad News Baron is 80 years old, what he'll be doing is regretting most of what he's doing right now.
Well played.
All right. That was a great answer. Can you tell us just briefly about your desire to become an artisan cheesemaker? Or is that just completely out of left field?
I would think it would be obvious. Who wouldn't want to be an artisan cheesemaker? To have the finest milks available to you.
Is there something I failed to uncover during the interview? Do you have a love affair with cheese?
I enjoy cheese. I don't think I've ever expressed such on the stream. No, but there are a few things finer than a good cheese.
Okay. All right. Well, I will take that and put it in the vault. And in 80 years, I'll check in. And if there is not a Bad News Baron dairy, I will refer back to this evening. All right. So next question we asked Captain Richard was, if you were to describe Baron in one word, what would that one word be?
Superfluous. Unneeded. Does it have to be the exact word, or can be a synonym?
It
synonym
can be
of
in the
word?
ballpark.
Okay, can be in the ballpark. I want to say persistent.
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 Final answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Few things if not stubborn.
When we asked Captain Richard to describe Bad News Baron in one word, here's what he said.
I would say, if I was going to describe Baron in one word, I would say motivated. Motivated would probably be the word I would go with.
Okay.
Judges?
This is close. I have a third monitor here with nothing but the judge's response. I'm waiting for it to pop up. Normally there's about a 2 to 3 second delay. The judge is pondering. His decision is final. I'm waiting for it. I don't want to influence. Either way, I will share my opinion once the judge has typed it in. The respective. Would you like to make your case while he's making his decision, Baron?
You know what? You cannot be persistent without being motivated to some degree. So it's necessary. They're entwined. They're one and the same. They're this. This is that. If you are persistently doggedly towards something, you are motivated to an action.
Okay. Right now, the judge is still pondering. So while the judge is pondering, we're going to come back to that to the end. All right. The judge is researching the definition of both words, and that's what was currently typed in for me. All right. Next question. This is question number 7. If Captain Richard were to give you one superpower that he thinks you would like, what do you think Captain Richard would give you? What sort of power? Superpower.
The ability to summon unicorns.
The ability to summon unicorns. Is that your final answer? Okay. Yes. All right. If Captain Richard were to give you one superpower, here's what he would give you.
If Bad News Baron had one superpower, that he would want, it would probably be the ability to not ever have to sleep. So that way he could just continue what he's doing 24 hours a day instead of just a part of the day. And I think
unicorns can grant that ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was incorrect.
Well, from a point of view.
From a point of view. I have to say, Captain Richard has been all over the map with his answers. How do you feel?
He's the wild card.
Okay.
He's the complete wild card.
Wild card. All right. Last question.
Rockies is predictable.
Last question. We might have skipped one. Last question is, we do have 2 more. So I think we jumped ahead on one.
Okay.
So this is question 7. So we asked Captain Richard, if you were to play you were only allowed to play one game the rest of your entire life.
Star Citizen. This should be a gimme. Come on.
Okay. Final answer, Star Citizen?
Yes.
Okay, when we asked Captain Richard what one game that Baron would choose to play the rest of his life, here's what he said.
I think if he was stuck, trapped, if you want to put it that way, playing only one video game for the rest of his life, I would have to say Animal Crossing.
What the hell? I've never even played Animal Crossing. God damn it, Richard. He did that one on purpose. I'm going to have words with him.
All right.
God damn it. God damn it, Richard.
Last question. Who would, if Richard were to put you together with your dream collaboration to create something? It could be a person, could be an entity, could be a group. What dream collaboration do you think Richard would pick for you? So you get to create something with, could be a celebrity, could be a Twitch person, could be an entity, could be a group, could be a company.
Well, he's clearly not playing by the rules, which makes this nigh impossible. It takes 2 to tango, Richard.
However, in his case, he did call you, determined, motivated, which I'd say that.
Persistent. Which I'm going to comment on that depending on what the jury picks,
okay.
By the way, whether that goes my way. To design something, to do something
Collaborate.
to collaborate,
Yeah.
it would be to, you know what? I'm going to forgo what he would want, what he thinks.
Okay.
I'm not going to be bound by those rules. I'm not going to try to play your game, Dan.
It's not my game. I'm merely the facilitator of this arena. I am not a combatant. I am just merely sitting back from afar and watching it go down.
I would like to have a Bee Gees murder mystery club where the Bee Gees in cover band perform and people can strangle them as a cathartic release whenever they hit the high notes. I think that would be, and I would collaborate probably with Elton John on that, and purely because I think he's a stylish man, and I think he'd bring a crowd. Other than that, I would my answer is going to be that I would work with Cloud Imperium Games to make a show within the Star Citizen universe. That's my answer.
Final answer: work
Yes.
with Cloud Imperium, make a show, some internal
Yes,
show.
an in-fiction show within Star Citizen.
All right. When we asked Captain Richard who he would pick for your dream collaboration, here's what he said.
I would like to see BadNewsBaron, if he could collaborate with anyone, I would like to see him collaborate with NASA, put his ass on a rocket, fire him up into space, and let him stream from space.
That would be fun. That would be very fun.
What would be more fun? Stream from space or your own lore show with Cloud Imperium Games?
I think it would be more fun to win this game.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Cloud Imperium. No, I would love to stream from space. I would love to go. My lifelong dream is to one day go to space, even if it's suborbital.
Got it.
Which they should, by the time we're old, that should be a thing.
Yeah. It'd be like hopping on a Delta flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Dallas to
Yeah, float
Boston.
around a little with your old peopleness and... Yeah.
All right. Well, there is a little bit of a hanging chad in the form of question number 6. The judge's decision is in. And according to the judge, he said that the definitions of the two words had no similar meaning. Therefore, you got 0 points for that. However, the good news is you did get question 2 right, which brings your overall total to 1,275 points.
I want to recall.
Tying you with Mathis Games for the person that has the
Done the worst.
amount of points that add up to the smallest amount.
I tied? How do you tie in this game?
I don't know.
I tied with Mathis.
You tied with Mathis. You had 275 in Quake Live.
That was my only goal, is to beat Mathis. That was my only goal coming on here.
Well,
All right.
the good news is that you're not alone. You're not alone.
All right. Which, if you do this alphabetically, I will come before him. So that means that I beat Mathis by virtue of having a B instead of an M.
When the scores are listed at the end of season 1, that is a true statement. And so you will not be the bottom name on the list. However, there still are a few more guests in season 1 that could get under 1275.
That's fine. That's fine. As I'm at the bottom of the list. So suck it, Mathis.
But with that being said, Baron, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really, really interesting to hear your story and to hear how far you've come and just even, I say this from a biased view because I enjoy your community. I love hanging out. But you've done such a great job with everything you've built. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Dan. This has been so much fun. And I think you've now gotten me addicted to this damn Smash game.
All right. Well, so right now people can find you on twitch.tv/badnewsbaron, on youtube.com/badnewsbarontv, and twitter.com/thebadnewsbaron. So all these ways to find you are on the screen for viewers to see right now. But tell us a little bit about where people can find you, what you're producing, and tell us more about Stream Academy and how people can find that.
My channel is one that is more or less dedicated to space sims, particularly Star Citizen. That is probably a core 50% of our channel. Every once in a while we go out and do variety content. But if you like space, then we're the place, yo. It's out of this world. That's why we do space content. So Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. Weekends coming up, hopefully soon. Going to be streaming from the Twitch booth at South by Southwest this Saturday at, I think, 3 p.m. Central Time. So come watch that. And then if you were interested in becoming a streamer and you would like a structured program to teach you how to do so and learn the marketing side and the entire environment, basically the roadmap streamers don't normally have, that is stream-academy.com. We've got a full program for you, so check it out. Yo.
If one of the moderators can link up, I see all his social up there. Awesome. He's got the Stream Academy link on there. What are you going to be streaming from South by Southwest?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
I gave them a list of games, so it depends on what they install.
Very cool. So what? So you're going to South by Southwest. You're going to be streaming from the Twitch booth. That's when? This Saturday?
This Saturday at I believe 3 p.m. Central Time.
3 p.m. Central Time. And then can you tell us a little bit more about what Bad News Gaming is? Sure.
Bad News Gaming is a collection of streamers who are also sort of in the space and sci-fi niche. Not all of them are completely dedicated to that, but it's those streamers who I really enjoy in that sphere, and some of the people who have been very, very supportive of this channel. Dan, I think you have an invite, damn it.
I do?
I think you do.
Oh.
I think you do in your dashboard.
We'll have to check it out. I didn't know.
You gotta check it.
I didn't know.
But yeah, it's if you enjoy space content and you enjoy that community, it's meant to be a group of people who support each other. So that's the stuff, guys, if you want to check out the other streamers.
Got it. And one thing we like to do when we wrap things up here is for someone that's watching right now that may want to get into streaming or maybe just starting out and has a very, small community or just a few viewers, what would you tell them? So if you could go back and talk to yourself when you just started streaming under your one of your first two streams, and you could really listen to yourself, what would you tell yourself and really convey that message to people who are like you when you first started?
Be extremely consistent in your schedule. Always talk and always have fun.
Always have fun. And have fun. We did. Baron, thank you so much for coming on. I had a blast.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you on the show. It's like I said, you're one of the communities that I truly enjoy being a part of. And
thank you.
When I see you streaming Star Citizen, I always enjoy watching because there's never a dull moment.
Yes, tell me more about how good I am.
No, Baron's really good. He's really engaging. He's a streamer that is very engaging with his chat. He always has something unique going on. Some of the things that have happened, he occasionally, it hasn't happened in a while, you'll do a Darth Vader stream.
Yes.
You've done some Kerbal stuff I've seen.
Yep.
One of the things that's burned in my mind about one of your streams is after, once David Bowie passed, the day when that news came out, you had a very memorable moment on stream where you were a Star Citizen, you were EVAing around and singing Space Oddity.
And I had my face painted like Ziggy Stardust. That was fun. Well, thank you very, very much, Dan. I appreciate it. And this was an absolute blast. So more stuff together in the future, please. We need to play Star Citizen together.
I'd love to. But
yes.
make sure to follow and subscribe to Bad News Baron on Twitch and YouTube, and follow him on Twitter for some space hijinks. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys taking the time out. If you guys enjoyed the show, I encourage you to hit the follow button on Twitch. And after the fact, if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be links to both Stream Academy and Baron's channel in the description below. So if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.